I think if you've had a concussion and you're in the middle of your school year, ultimately the question is, what do I do? Do I go back to classes? Do I go back to school? Do I take time off? What I will tell you that it's very much an individual decision. It depends on what are the symptoms that you're having, how severe are the symptoms, how much do they impact your ability to be in a classroom or to study. And everyone is different in terms of how long these symptoms last. So while I can give you general recommendations, you should know that you should monitor how well you're feeling in order to determine how much you can do. In general, we do not recommend that you take a quarter off from school when you have a concussion. Why is that? Because ultimately it means that you're not getting enough of exercise, brain exercise, if you're completely withdrawing from school and essentially isolated after a concussion. But what we do recommend is that you tell your teachers that you've had a concussion and let them know that for the next week or two, which is a typical recovery timeline for concussion symptoms, you may not be able to do as much homework as they have assigned, that you may need extensions to do homework. You may need extensions to take exams. It is particularly important to see where are you at in terms of schoolwork when the concussion happens. If you're about to take a final exam and you've just had a concussion, you will absolutely need to consult with your teachers and see if you're able to ask for an extension and take the exam at a later date. It is not uncommon for teachers to grant you extra 2 to 3 weeks for taking an exam after a concussion. It is also not uncommon for you to be allowed to reduce your homework load when you go back to classes. In general, I would recommend taking maybe 1 or 2 days off when you just had a concussion, just because you might have a severe headache, you might be extremely sensitive to light or noise, and it may simply be too difficult to sit in a bright room. But otherwise, I do recommend going back to school as quickly as you can, but with certain accommodations. If you've had a concussion and you're in the middle of your school year, I think number one is to report that you've had a concussion. You can report it to a teacher. If you're reluctant to report it to a teacher, or you simply don't have a close relationship with your teachers, please report it to a school nurse. If school nurse is not available, please report it to your athletic trainer if you're involved in a sport, or at the very least, please let your parents know so they can contact school and let the school officials know that you've had a concussion.